Se los habíamos comentado, bueno, obviamente es portada Ken Casey. Matías tuvo en un feriado, digámoslo, el 21 de junio entrevistaste ahí, sorteando el tema del horario, penqueas familiares, pero bueno, el profesionalismo de Matías está por sobre todo, y entrevistó a Ken Casey de los Dropkick Murphys.
Un honor, de verdad, un tipo súper clever, obviamente, legendario. Están a puerta a sacar un disco, se llama For the People, el 4 de julio, el día de la independencia de Estados Unidos. Realmente avergonzado de ser norteamericano, así que
con la zorra que tiene Donald Trump.
Realmente avergonzado. Así que está muy interesante. Los quiero dejar con esta entrevista que hicimos vía Zoom, exclusiva para la Religión. Es Ken Casey en el 88.
Dropkick Murphys, disfrútenlo.
How's it been?
How you doing?
I'm pretty good.
I'm good.
Yeah?
Good to talk to you.
Yeah, me too. I'm very excited about the new album.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's start with a few questions about that. For the people, represents a truly combative time for the Dropkick Murphys. For a band that has always denounced injustice, everything happening with Donald Trump in the United States and all around the world must have been like really inspiring for this record. How do you feel about the current political moment and where the states are headed as a country right now?
I'm obviously, ashamed of the way we're behaving to working people, to immigrants, to elderly, many of whom have been promised certain rights, veterans who served their country and were promised certain rights that all are trying to be stripped. We're only a little over 100 days into this, and so much has already been taken away from people, and it's just not what America is supposed to stand for, freedom and democracy. And to me, it all starts with just how the man on the top even speaks to people. Just the rhetoric, has created such division amongst people in the country that that then makes people think they can talk to each other like that, and the division between friends, families, people don't even speak to each other anymore over this one man and his followers. It's really, it's heartbreaking, actually,
Right. So, is this something that you're talking about in this new record? That was something that you want to make a point across for all of this that's going on?
Yeah. I mean, some of the songs on the record were written, in the fall before the election, and I honestly thought that he wouldn't win the election. and some were written right after the election, and we were recording the album in December, and there's definitely some, there's probably 4 songs on the album that are kind of directly inspired by the times that we're in, and
yeah, sorry. The album's gonna drop out on July 4th. Was that a coincidence, or it was something that you guys plan on doing on Independence Day?
We had some options in that vicinity, and we said, well, Independence Day is the perfect day to do it. So
it's a Friday, right? So
so we picked that day because we thought it was symbolic,
Right. So this year you went to the Ukraine as part of the humanitarian aid convoy. Could you tell me a little bit about that trip and how was that experience?
It was heartbreaking and inspiring at the same time. I got to meet so many amazing people that, are dealing with circumstances that most Americans can't even comprehend, and they're still trying to go about with their lives and still have to pay their bills and provide for their families. So you think about a city like Kyiv, and regular daily business is going on, but meanwhile there's huge gaping holes in buildings and air raid sirens going off, but the people still try their best to go on with their lives. And at this point in the war, you know, everybody, whether it's musicians, actors, I saw that an actor was just killed on the front lines, you know, lawyers, you know, people whose background is not something that would have probably ever expected them to end up in military service, but you know, they all have to fight to defend their country. They're being attacked, and I just was very inspired by people's attitude and bravery and positivity. And yeah, we've done some fundraising through the band, you know, just via like selling T-shirts, Dropkick Murphy shirts that say support Ukraine. And I just felt like it was important that if you're going to ask people to support a cause, that you should be there and, you know,
Right.
Have a first-hand experience.
Right, do your part. That's great, man. Okay, so let's go back a little bit to the album. I imagine that collaborating with Billy Bragg on Ewan's McCall classic "School Days Over" was like a full circle moment, wasn't it? Working with one of your influence. How was that experience?
Oh, it was awesome. And you know, when we had already recorded the song, and we knew we kind of wanted to see if we could work with Billy. And when we asked Billy to do the song, ironically, he said it's one of his favorites, and he's actually sang the song on a picket line before with Kirsty McCall, Ewan's daughter, who is not known to perform her father's songs often, but they had actually done that one together. And so I thought, and a lot of times with Dropkick Murphys, I find, like, I suppose anybody in life, if you're looking for the signs, you know, like, there was just a cool kind of thing that, wow, that was the song we chose, and it already had a strong meaning and a place in his heart, you know. But, you know, all our years of respecting Billy, and we had a few times been spoken over text and stuff like that, but we'd never crossed paths to meet in person. And a few years ago, we did get to meet. He came and performed with us in Boston, and then we got to perform together in New York at Carnegie Hall for a tribute to Shane MacGowan and Sinead O'Connor. And we hit it off with Billy Bragg like he was an old friend we grew up with. Sometimes you meet people and it takes a while to become close, and sometimes you meet someone and you know right away that
right away.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So another top moment of the album, it's the tribute to Shane. It's like a very emotive rendition for Shane's MacGowan from the Pogues, who left us some time ago, 2023, I think. Many fans came to the Pogues music thanks to you. Like the Pogues debuted in Boston in the mid '80s, and there was like a really strong hardcore scene. What do you remember about those days with Pogues?
Yeah, so it was like I was a kid that was, you know, listening to punk rock and hardcore, but from this strong Irish community. And so Irish music was kind of ingrained in my soul, even if I didn't necessarily, you know, as a young teen, didn't necessarily think it was my music. And the Pogues came along and was like, literally, talk about someone speaking to you, you know, this London Irish guys, you know, and I just felt like, this is my band, you know, and you know, and it also made that older generation Irish music kind of cool to my age. And you know, people obviously people love them more worldwide, but in cities like Boston and New York, there was just such a place in our hearts for them, you know. And it was you know, and above and beyond that, he was just such a great songwriter, just a poet, you know. And he had so the song is written, you know, more so from like my eyes, my personal experience with the Pogues, not just with their music, but as someone, you know, like as a fan and seeing them as a kid in my teens and listening to their music, and then going on to get to record with them and get to tour with them.
Amazing.
You know, so yeah, and you know, when you think about it, the band's influence has had a tremendous impact on my life. It's changed. It led me to the career that I'm in for 30 years, you know, and allowed me to provide for my family. And that wasn't, of course, the plan, but when I look back on it all, I said, well, if they didn't come along, what would I have done, you know?
Wow, that's amazing. I understand that the Clash is one other of your big influences. In fact, I think Al's oldest song is named Strummer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What was it like for you to meet Joe when he was in the Mescaleros?
Oh my God, we met on my first time meeting Joe. We were on tour in Australia, and I flew 24 hours back and landed at the airport and went straight to see him. And this was in the late '90s, and man, we walked into the dressing room, and he just like, a Billy Bragg-esque kind of moment where you just knew this is one of your people, aside from who he was and what he did, just as a human being, he was just so down to earth, and got to meet him a couple other times along the way. I remember one time we played a festival in Finsbury Park in London, and it was the Pogues, Joe and the Mescaleros and Dropkicks, and we sat side stage with Joe watching the Pogues play, and it was like my whole life encompassed in one moment, Joe was what taught a lot. He was kind of that bridge for a lot of us into that protest music, whether it be Woody Guthrie or, and help shape our political stances, and just such an inspiring guy.
Yeah, for sure it is. Do you feel like the Dropkick Murphys are continuing the Clash legacies in terms of the musical fusion?
I hate to ever talk about us in the realm of someone like that, but I think that we've been around 30 years almost. So like we've been, a lot of people have come through the doors listening to us, and the generations. I feel like I am proud of the fact that we've always tried to wear our musical influences on our sleeve and do our best to make sure that people know who our influences are and go check them out. Because like you said, if a kid was growing up in his teens and he got into Dropkick Murphys, we wanted them to go and become a fan of the Clash and the Pogues,
Yeah, it's great. What was it like to work with Al again, like on this album? The Fan Cities is like a true gift. How is he like in a personal level?
He's good. He's it's funny. Like we always joke like that. Say the band takes a week off from tour, and we start. So we've been on tour for 3 months, and we have a week off, and then the first show after a week, we're all like, how do we do this again? Will we be able to do this? It's just the weirdest thing, and Al has been off for a long time, and he had that mentality of like, how am I going to do this? I haven't been practicing. And I said, well, will you just shut up and come down to the studio?
Right.
And he picked up like where he left off. But he's doing good, man. He's, we're all proud of him for his decision to, spend time with his family and his mom. That's what we sing about, and so a lot, family and stuff. So I think it was good for him and his mental health to be able to do the right thing and stay home. When his dad died a few years prior, he was touring with us through a lot of it and kind of missed it. And I think that had haunted him,
Right. Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'm glad to hear that he's better. You fulfilled like almost all of your dreams with the band. I mean, is there anything that you like to accomplish in the near future with the band? Something that's like on your bucket list as far as the band goes?
One of our bucket list things that we never accomplished, and we may not at this point, was to open for AC/DC one day. We've literally checked off just about all the bucket list items. You know what I mean? We've gone to almost all the places we want to go on tour. Southeast Asia, like Indonesia and those places we haven't been, and we've always got a lot of like mail from there, even in the earliest days of the band. There's big kind of street punk skinhead scene there that has been writing us since we very first started, and so that would be a kind of a touring wise bucket list spot, and then opening for AC/DC, and then really all our kind of musical dreams have come true. A lot of the things that we've got to do involved with the city of Boston and the sports teams here and the travel and bands that we've got to play with and people we've got to meet, and going to places we never dreamed we'd get to see in the world. It's been such an amazing ride, and sometimes now I think it's just about staying hungry and making sure that the music we continue to create is from the heart and has the same passion that we've had throughout our career.
That's great, man. I always thought that the soul of the Dropkick Murphys music is like solidarity, protest, mischief. Do you feel that there is a lack of social compromise on current rock bands or artists?
I mean, I'm a little disappointed, to be honest with you, and I'm not one to want to call people out, but sometimes feels a little lonely out here speaking up against what's happening in America now. I'm like, where are all the bands we started with? That's not to say that no one is doing it, because some people are, but a lot of bands I expected to be joining us are staying quiet. And everyone, all these punk bands sang about Reagan, they sang about Bush, and this is worse. But the difference now is that if you speak out, you have this army of trolls that come after you, and you're going to lose, fans. And
that's diluted by fear from the artist. Yeah.
But that is, to me, when you need to speak out the most. And we are losing fans, and we do get threatened and attacked. But to me, that shows me all the more reason we need to do it. Because it is real and it's happening. And you look at colleges, law firms, television networks. Everyone's bending the knee to this guy. And I didn't think punk rock would bend the knee.
Yeah. Well, this show, this podcast, whatever you want to call it, it's called La Mala Religión. It's like Bad Religion in Spanish, like the band. And you will be doing a huge tour with Bad Religion in a few weeks, right? So do you have any fun memories with the band, with Greg and the guys over the years? Like any anecdotes that you could share with us?
We've toured together several times. I mean, we just, same thing, just like guys that just, no funny anecdotes, but more just like ease and comfort to be around each other. You know what I mean? Like good guys. And, obviously if you want to go back to Brett, obviously giving, signing us to his label, changing our life, and, just really hit it off with those guys whenever we see each other on festivals. It's like, you're looking forward to seeing each other and hanging out. And the idea of this tour coming together was just amazing, because we know we'll have a very enjoyable summer together. We've been around 30 years. They've been around so much longer than us. So it's not like, we're not like, I think back on some of the tours we've done with other bands in our early days, and we were out there like pranking each other, and it was chaos. But it won't be chaos, but it'll be
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Friends hanging out. That's
yeah.
And what about South America? Do you have any plans to come back to Chile, South America?
I better see South America on our tour schedule soon, because I just love the passion and the kindness, and people have treated us so good every time we've come. I hope we get an offer to go. I think sometimes I don't know if it's like not having a solid promoter that makes us an offer on a regular basis, but I told our team that we have to come to South America on this current record. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. All right, Ken, that's our time. I want to thank you for the time, for the conversation. It was really good to have you here.
Thank you for your support. I appreciate talking to you.
Thank you, man.
Cheers. Have a great day.